Hello, this is Keanu Freitas. I decided to do scenario one, which is online game provider. If you look here, users is my main table here. It has all the fields that it needs, that it was required. User ID, integer 11, and that's my primary key down here at the bottom. And then first name, last name, username, password, date of birth, and then all the IDs um, that would give me access to link up to the tables and the columns in all the other tables. Those are all integers as well. And the dinars amount is a varchar, which made it a little easier to link the information. And then if you go into the bottom, here's all my indexes. Pretty much just made it way easier if I just had like FN for first name and LN for last name. If you really go through these indexes and the key names, then you can kind of see why um, it's a little easier to understand. So like long names like user orders, ID, I just put UID. Um, if you go through the other tables, actually let me show you the content user ID, all the information up here at the top, and relations. And the relations is all these tables here, the equipment table, payment, user status, and user type, and these are all linked through the user ID columns. And then there's no triggers right now for this one. And if I go to the next thing, which is user type, here's our indexes for the user type, super user, admin, customer, user ID, and then the primary key, which is user type ID. Content and relations. Relations is through the user ID, users table, user ID. No triggers on this one. So the user status is user status ID, user status, created date. I kept adding created date in most of the tables just because it's good to have. And then the dinars amount, so that if a user purchases anything, like any of the equipment from user equipment or the equipment table, then it'll connect to the user status and give you the amount of money that you have remaining. And then there's indexes here, USID, and DA for the dinars amount. And there's our relations. And then we'll go to user orders. User order relations is also to the user ID and users table. I added cascade on delete and cascade on delete, so that if you were to do anything on that table, make any updates or deletes, then it does it from the other table as well. And then user equipment. And user equipment will be relations to the user ID, users table, cascade turned on. Here's our content, item, user ID, item price, and the amount. And here it is here, varchar, integer, and then the indexes down here at the bottom. And then if I go to the user clan holds the user clan ID, the clan leader, and clan member, and then user ID. So the user ID is in every single one because it's just linking all of them together. I found that would be the easiest way to do it. And the clan member and clan leader is what was required in the scenario. And then relations, the same, no triggers. User archive is the next one, and that is where the purchase history is going to be, as well as the credit card history, and then the user ID. So this is like if someone puts in another credit card or a new credit card, then it goes into the archive, and then they still have access to that if they want to go back. And the payment is payment ID, user ID, payment method, payment credit card number, payment credit card expiration date, payment bank account number, payment bank routing number, amount paid, created date, monthly subscription, and payment date. And then they're down here in the indexes, because obviously like the payment bank account number is extremely long, so I changed the integers to 20, and then I gave it a shorter index name. And then the equipment is holding all of this. The E stands for equipment, so equipment name, created date, equipment description, equipment type, equipment damage, equipment armor rating, and then so on. And yep, and it's down here on the index as well, relations, and no triggers. So if I want to go back to the users, just want to explain one more thing before I finish. Password is 255, but it's in binary, and I did some research online, and it says that if you're creating a password and the data type should be binary, then it keeps it a little more secure. So this is my EER diagram in MySQL Workbench. If you look here, here's the users, which is the main table. If I highlight here, then it highlights what it does. They're all connecting through the payment ID, user type ID, user ID and integer. If I click on this one, they all connect back to users because users is the main table. It shows you the data type, and then the actual tables here and columns. So equipment, user clan, user equipment, user status, user archive, user orders, users, user type, and payment. And that's it. Thank you.